Sir, there are two approaches. One is grow your company profitably and slowly. The second is take adequate funding and scale quickly. Which one is better?
You have to decide your goal to answer this question. If your goal is to just scale and not make profits now but wait for long term to gain profits, then the approach of scalability works better. But if you are building an organization which has to add more value and for more longer term, then the second one, which is to look at profits, scale slow, but make sure that you are getting some buck out of the business at the end of the day, and then grow gradually, would be better. Example, latest we looked at Zomato IPO, a loss-making company, but focused on volumes, focused on gaining customers, may be absolutely loss-making, but yes, that is their strategy, and they've gone into IPO stage as well. Other organizations who are profitable yet growing slowly but adding value to the stakeholders is important. So how you want to strategize your business will help. Second, once you've strategized your business, what are the expectations of the stakeholders are important. So one thing is very clear: for whatever thing that you do, customer has to gain value. If the customer is not gaining value, the product is not viable at all. So customer side is fairly sorted in both the models. Your strategy and then stakeholders. If the stakeholder is your own self, it is bootstrapped organization, you are funding yourself. If your idea is to generate funds out of the funds that you have invested and make some profit, then the second approach. But if your idea is to burn some more cash, gain valuation over next 3 to 5 years and maybe sell off or go to an IPO stage, basis that, then that is the approach that one can take. If investors, then again, what is the plan of the investors? So no right answer. Everything depends on how you want to run the organization. What is your objective of running the organization? Both have their own pros and cons.
Do a bud stage startup need to invest huge amount on customer acquisitions?
So customer acquisition is an expensive exercise, right? Always.
Yes, sir.
And in the competitive market as India, it will always be. How you make it cost effective within your budgets is something that could be worked out on a case to case basis. For example, if you are into retail, and this is one of the examples, I was having a conversation with one of the startups. They were into selling pencils. Their competition was huge in terms of all the big brands. But the key driver was the retailers, not the competition. So if you address the key driver right, which is the retailers who are selling the pencils to the students on the ground, then your competition is fairly taken care of and the cost of acquisition comes down. But if you want to target only competitors and not the retailers, then your cost of acquisition will be huge. So cost of acquisition, having said the facts of the case, is a hefty exercise. But how do you smartly maneuver around it to ensure that with the minimum spend, you get what you want, or you get fairly, there what you want is a real value add.
How significant these things are different? Like we can see that great companies have their initial MVPs different from what what their value propositions are now. We can see a significant difference from that.
Yes. So it will always be, right? So what you intend to do today will not always remain same tomorrow. But what you intend to do today is important so that you can focus on that and deliver your product accordingly, be it POC, prototype or MVP. Because your today's offering is this much only, which is limited. Like for example, when Amazon started with only an online bookstore, which was their MVP at a point in time. But now their MVP is entirely different. It is a full-fledged e-commerce platform, right? So, but at that point in time, planning to really work on the online bookstore as a website or an app was important to test whether it is working right or not. It was important to plan what volumes you would want to sell, what would be the margin, what would be the profitability after whatever expenses and all of that, and how would you scale that. So that plan is always important to have in place. The important thing on top of that is how you make sure that the plan is relevant. In what frequency you review that plan, considering not only what you are doing, considering what is happening in the market, what are the natural expansion probability, scope, and strategy that you want to look at, what are the markets that you want to expand in, could be horizontal or could be vertical. But then that's important always, because no big organization has become big without giving its the planning and strategy its due importance, because otherwise you would shoot in dark.
Certainly, it is fundamentally the mindset. Once if you are starting with stretching out from MSME and you are aiming to becoming a MNC, then the mindset is very crucial. If this mindset involves everything, you're planning to emphasize much, and this planning should be very continuous, could be feedback oriented, should be restructured every time, every week, every fortnight, and then this whole journey goes on. You keep on acquiring talented and just keep on building up as this as an MNC. So, would you like to say something on that? That this mindset framework. So, how this can this can be first of all be in the first place. What sort of this mindset? Because initially we all have all the problems. So, what should be the basic starting point of the mindset?
Okay, so thank you, Dr. Rajif, for this question. Mindset in my understanding is driven by your conviction to start a particular venture. Important, and we all get digressed from the objective, because we have got distractions day in day out for other aspects and other areas of life. Important every time is to remember and recollect why you started a particular venture. What is it that you want to achieve out of that? What and how do you define your goal? And that goal could be a 6-monthly goal, could be an yearly goal. If you define that and revisit that on a regular basis and make it realistic, the mindset would always be in focus. That's basis experience I'm sharing with you. So if you are focused enough on what you want to achieve, you would always be in the mindset to work more and more for your venture. Commitment along with mindset is important of how you make yourself committed for long term with your venture.
Yes.
Sir, actually, I have a question regarding my venture. So basically, this is my second venture that I'm planning right now. So I was in a dilemma that initially, even when I had the first venture, we had to stop it because of, it is on a pause right now. So we had to make it a pause because we were not aware of the exact customer base, right? So now that we have the prior experience and we exactly know what the customer base is, it's pretty unaware for us. We are pretty unaware about the fact that how to reach the initial customer base. I'm not talking about the beta users or probably the people who will be testing out and giving us the feedbacks, but how to even reach to that basic customer base, because we have to gain a lot of experience right now, and we definitely want the mentorship from people like you and everybody around here. But since again the fact is we are not even aware of the actual strategy or actual point of specific view that how to even proceed to the basic and the actual customer base initially. So that was my question.
So couple of things before I answer. Is your POC ready?
Sir, I have
concept of service.
Yeah, exactly, sir. So I have that as well, and I have a proper MVP ready as well, the
You've got
minimum viable
MVP.
product. Yeah.
Okay.
So for both the products that I'm talking, but I'm focusing on the latest venture right now. It's not like since I said that I paused the earlier venture, so it's out of bound right now. But
Uh-huh.
actually, I'm focusing on the latest venture. So, and for that, I feel, we feel as my other founder as well, we feel that it is pretty ready and pretty on point to take it into the market. So that's how it is right now.
Okay. And if you have an MVP, do you have your target customer persona made in your mind, or on a piece of paper, of what kind of customers you want to target?
Absolutely, sir. Absolutely, sir. We have made proper presentation. I mean, we are approaching very formally towards the situation right now, because since we have gained a little experience and we have meetings like with Vijay sir as well, and
Uh-huh.
we did a lot of things. I mean, we are into researching and more of researching right now. So we
Okay.
are into a formal phase right now. Yes, sir. So I can say that we have it on piece of paper and ready, absolutely, in
Okay.
mind as well.
Okay. And would you want to share some brief about your business so that I can then suggest you how to reach the right customers?
Absolutely, sir. So basically, sir, right now we are focusing on a product that basically helps us connect and make a proper community of either professionals or people who are working, right? So, for example, it is pretty difficult, and I researched and I got a number that's probably 25% or 23% round. So that says that most of these number of startups fail due to the fact that they are not able to get adequate number of human resources or adequate resources to fulfill their requirements, right? So we are building a product that will help us connect and help those people connect, the people who are willing to put up their requirements and the people who want to fulfill the requirement. We are making a network of these kind of people. So that is so basically the product is focused on the communication between the people who are lacking things, and communication with the people who can fulfill the gap between what they're lacking, for that, so that we can make a proper startup environment. For example, I am right now facing a problem that I don't have a right team. So I for that specific problem, we thought of making a actual platform where people will have a startup environment, or environment where they can ask for help instantly and get help from each other and communicate and grow together initially in the initial basis of their product. So that's how we are basically approaching with the products right now.
Okay. So your product is a networking platform, or your product is a human resource offering?
So it's a networking platform where we allow people to communicate and acquire human resources. I mean, it's not like we are posting any kind of jobs from our end, or we are posting any kind of human resources from our end. It's like just a platform where people can register as themselves as a user, and the other one, or the people can put up their projects or their work, and they can either track it, either showcase it to other people, and put up the requirements that they have. For example, right now I want a chief marketing officer, right? So I can just put up an offer that I want a chief marketing officer, because it's not a very formalized way of asking for help. It's just that somebody wants to do something of their own, and somebody is struggling to start something of their own. So we want these people to connect and make an environment to proceed. So that's how it is.
Okay. So in that case, if you are looking at how do you find first set of customers to test your MVP and
Yes,
give you
sir.
feedback, then you should look at two aspects, and very low hanging fruits to really reap on. One is do some bit of marketing, could be an email marketing,
Mhm.
to get the right contact numbers and people to contact. And second is maybe do some sessions with startups, maybe webinars for startups, to really help them understand your offering. So
Mhm.
currently, when you are explaining me the offering, there are two aspects of offering that you already explained. And if you will have a conversation, then obviously there'll be maybe 2-3 more.
Yes,
But if you've got two set of offerings, then refine your deck or your pitch or whatever to share that you've got 2 offerings or 5 offerings, not one. And build strategy around growing each one of them separately in a focused manner.
Okay.
So what looks like is you are trying to grow the venture, but
Yes, sir,
not
absolutely.
the specific aspects within the venture. So if your venture has got 4 aspects, then you need to have someone focusing on each one of them separately, because each one of them would have a different strategy, both to market and to acquire customers.
Yes, absolutely.
And based on that, we will have a different strategy on pricing, revenue, costing, and then eventually profitability.
And sorry to disturb you, sir. One more thing, sir. Sir, as I had conversations with many people as well, and as I was listening to your webinar as well, that you were giving an example of Uber and the MVP that they offer limited services initially.
Yes.
But what I think for now is that if I'll, for example, limit or focus on one particular service, or let's say one particular aspect, this might downgrade my product in a sense, not in a sense that the service is inadequate, but my product as a whole, that if you connect the points, that the aspects that I'll be telling or I'll be sharing with the people, then it will be more visibly viable to somebody to even think about it, rather giving a single aspect and just focus on that. I'm definitely agreeing to the point that you should focus on different aspects individually, and that's what I want to say again. But as I said, people initially say that you should actually go with the same approach that everybody says, that give the minimum product to somebody and make it the best of it. But I think in this case, or in many cases, it's like the product is pretty wide, and if you connect the points, it's more appropriate rather giving a single point out initially just because you don't have enough resources. So yeah.
No, so that statement has to be understood contextually, Mayank. While I understand that you should start with a minimum viable product, that does not mean only one product. That could mean a set of them. So if you have got 5 offerings and 3 of them makes it minimal, then 3. If 4 of them makes minimal, then 4. Important is how do you look at this matrix? Let me put it on screen again. Of what is the urgency and what is the impact? Right? If you can see your screen, if 4 or 5 of your products fit in the extreme top right quadrant, then you should include that in MVP.
Absolutely. Okay, sir.
And if it is only 1, then do 1. If it is all 5, do 5. So minimum doesn't mean 1. Minimum means minimum for your product, minimum for your offering.
Thank you for the assurance, sir, because I was pretty confused about the fact that it's like everybody talks about the same situation where you should put up a minimum product, because I mean, it's like if you look up to somebody, you have to listen to them rather give out your opinion initially, because you are at the initial stage. So
I understand. I understand that. That's not a problem. Minimum does not mean 1. Minimum could be 5, minimum could be 10, but that is minimum for you to launch. Below that number, your product isn't valuable for a customer.